Hello and welcome to Project What If, where curious minds come to explore. What if there was no night? The sun never set. Its golden rays painted the world in an unbroken glow that stretched across centuries. Cities hummed under eternal light, streets alive with endless motion, yet silence vanished beneath its relentless gaze. Without night's hush, sleep became a choice, not necessity. Shadows disappeared and introspection faded into uncertainty. What if humanity thrived or unraveled under the sun's unyielding embrace? Let's dive in.
The sun never set, and its golden rays bathed the world in an unceasing glow that stretched across centuries without pause. In this endless day, where the horizon was always illuminated by twilight's soft shimmer rather than starlight's cold embrace, life unfolded differently, shaped not by cycles of light and dark, but by a relentless march toward perpetual illumination. The streets of cities never fell into shadow. Instead, they pulsed with an ever-present glow, as if nature itself had been transformed to accommodate the absence of night. In this world, there were no sunsets or moonlit nights, only the continuous hum of life under unbroken daylight. In such a place, architecture and technology evolved in response to the eternal light. Skyscrapers shimmered with bioluminescent flora that bloomed without season, their petals opening at dawn as if welcoming an endless day. Cities were built with vertical gardens that thrived under constant sunlight, while streets brimmed with energy from solar panels embedded into every surface. Even in the most remote regions, no darkness ever crept over mountains or forests. Instead, vast fields of luminescent grass stretched endlessly beneath a sky where stars had never been born. But this world was not merely one of light, it was a place transformed by its very absence. The rhythm of daily life shifted from the cyclical patterns dictated by night and day to an unceasing flow that blurred boundaries between morning, afternoon, and evening. People no longer followed traditional schedules. Instead, they adapted their lives to this endless illumination, finding new ways to structure work, rest, and leisure within a world where darkness had been stripped away entirely. The absence of night also affected the emotional landscape of humanity. Without the sanctuary of sleep or the quiet hush of nighttime solitude, people found themselves grappling with an unfamiliar sense of isolation. The sun's unyielding presence made it difficult to find moments of introspection. Every shadow was gone, and every silence carried a weight that had never existed before. Yet some adapted by embracing this light as a constant companion, finding solace in its warmth rather than fear. In this world, there were no moonlit nights for lovers or midnight wanderings under starry skies. Instead, the sun's golden rays painted everything with an ever-present glow. The absence of darkness redefined every aspect of existence, shaping not only how people lived, but also who they became in a reality where night had never been allowed to exist. The relentless presence of daylight forced society into a continuous cycle that reshaped industries and daily routines entirely. With no natural day-night rhythm, traditional work hours dissolved. Instead, shifts were dictated by the needs of technology rather than biology. Factories operated around the clock without interruption, their machines humming under perpetual sunlight. As workers adapted to an unending workflow where rest was not a luxury, but a challenge to be managed with precision. Agriculture, too, underwent radical transformation in this world devoid of night. Crops no longer relied on seasonal changes or nocturnal cycles. Instead, they thrived under constant illumination, their growth accelerated by the sun's relentless presence. Farmers developed new techniques that allowed for year-round harvests without the need to wait for seasons, revolutionizing food production and reducing dependency on natural rhythms. Urban planning evolved in response to this unending light as well. Cities expanded beyond traditional boundaries into vast networks of interconnected districts, where every structure was designed with maximum efficiency under perpetual daylight. Streets were no longer confined by darkness. Instead, they became open extensions of public life, allowing for constant movement and interaction between people at all hours. The absence of night also led to a redefinition of time itself. No nights meant no evenings, which in turn altered the way society measured its passage through existence. People began relying on artificial markers rather than natural cycles to structure their days, leading to an entirely new understanding of temporal order that had never existed before under the rule of day and night. In this world where darkness was forbidden, humanity adapted not only to survive but to thrive within a reality shaped by unending illumination. The absence of night forced society into transformation, reshaping industries, redefining work patterns, altering how people lived their lives, and ultimately changing who they became in an existence where the sun had never set. Yet even as this world thrived under eternal light, there were those who found themselves struggling with its weight. Without darkness to offer respite or solitude, some felt a growing sense of unease, an unspoken longing for something that no longer existed. The absence of night left people adrift in an ever-brightening reality where the silence they once relied on had been replaced by constant illumination. For many, this world brought both opportunity and disconnection. Without the sanctuary of sleep or the quiet hush of nighttime solitude, it was difficult to find moments for reflection or introspection. The sun's unrelenting presence made every shadow disappear, leaving behind an emotional landscape where uncertainty reigned unchecked. Some adapted by seeking refuge in personal spaces, hidden rooms within their homes designed as sanctuaries from the ever-present light. Others found solace in new forms of connection. Intimacy and companionship were reshaped to accommodate a world without darkness, evolving into something different yet no less meaningful. But for many, this was an existence that felt incomplete, an endless day where even the most basic aspects of life had been altered beyond recognition. The absence of night created not only structural shifts in society, but also profound psychological effects on individuals who had never known what it meant to be truly alone beneath a starless sky. It forced people to confront their emotions without the comfort of darkness, revealing both strengths and vulnerabilities that would shape how they moved forward through this world where sleep was no longer an option. In this reality shaped by perpetual illumination, humanity found itself at a crossroads, balancing between adaptation and loss as it navigated life in a place where night had never existed. The absence of darkness redefined not only the physical landscape, but also the emotional depth that once came from knowing when to rest beneath unseen stars. The search for meaning in this unending day became an essential journey, one that shaped how people defined their existence beyond mere survival within a world devoid of its most fundamental cycle. As society adapted and evolved under perpetual illumination, it was clear that humanity's quest for purpose had only just begun, now redefined by the absence of night itself. In this reality where darkness had been erased from history, new forms of creativity flourished. Artists found inspiration in an ever-bright world without contrast. They painted with colors never before seen under such unrelenting light or crafted sculptures that shimmered like captured sunlight frozen mid-flight. Musicians composed symphonies that echoed through streets bathed in golden glow instead of the quiet hush of night, their melodies rising and falling as if carried by an unseen breeze. Scientists too embraced this new world with curiosity rather than fear. Without darkness to obscure or conceal, discoveries were made at a pace never before imagined. The absence of night allowed for unprecedented observation. Stars that had once been hidden behind the veil of dark no longer eluded sight, and mysteries long thought unsolvable became accessible under perpetual illumination. Religious movements adapted as well, finding new ways to express belief in an existence without its most fundamental cycle. Some viewed this world as a divine gift, an eternal day granted by forces beyond comprehension, while others struggled with the meaning of such transformation. Yet even amidst these shifts, there remained those who longed for something they could never reclaim. quiet hush that came before sleep, or the solace found beneath unknown constellations. The absence of night had redefined not only how people lived, but also what it meant to seek purpose within a world without its most natural cycles. Whether through art, science, faith, or personal reflection, humanity adapted in ways both profound and unexpected, shaping an existence that was forever changed by the sun's unyielding presence. As this new reality took hold, one truth became undeniable: life under eternal light would not be bound to the same patterns as before. It had become something entirely different, a world where meaning was redefined through adaptation rather than loss, shaped by a relentless illumination that left no room for shadow or silence. And in this unending day, humanity found itself standing at the threshold of an uncertain future, where the absence of night would continue to shape not only how they lived but also who they became. In such a world where darkness had never existed and the sun's light was eternal, there were both undeniable advantages and profound losses. The endless illumination brought opportunities for growth that humanity could have scarcely imagined. Under the old cycle of day and night, new frontiers in science and daily life emerged as society adapted to this reality without a single moment of darkness. Yet even with these advancements, there was an intangible cost, one that no amount of progress or innovation could ever fully compensate for. The absence of night meant the loss of something deeply rooted within human existence. The quiet hush before sleep, the solitude found in nighttime reflection, and the mystery offered by a world illuminated only under starlight. This new reality forced humanity to confront its own nature, what it truly needed beyond survival or adaptation. Some embraced this unending day as an opportunity for evolution. Others felt that something essential had been stripped away from their existence. The absence of darkness redefined not just the structure of society, but also how people came to understand themselves, shaping a future where even the most fundamental aspects of life were forever changed by the sun's eternal presence. In this world shaped by perpetual light and devoid of night's embrace, humanity found itself at an inflection point. The question remained: could they continue forward without darkness? Or would the absence of it one day become something they longed for more than anything else? Found this interesting? Subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like, share it out, and drop your questions or ideas in the comments. Until our next adventure.